Hi folks, Dominic here, and today's video is really about a photo I seen going around, and the photo was "The world is your oyster and you are the pearl." And generally what I want to cover on this video, folks, is I believe a super tool which we have for living, or a super tool which we have for life, and I use it myself along my life. I use it along the way, and generally what it is to write your thoughts. I'm going to tell you at the end of this video the actual results of writing your thoughts. I believe there's many people inside, and lots of, I'm just going to go for a stroll here for myself, inside in lots of psychiatric hospitals all over the country, all over the world I suppose, really, and if they could write their thoughts they might walk out of it. I discovered that in life myself. I'm sort of speaking here from experience with this, where people could be going along mindful of thoughts and not actually understanding what's going on for them. And there is lots of people in hospitals all around the world, I've discovered, from not understanding what is going on when their thought processes are full to the top. I describe it like, here's sort of how I describe it. If you put a mouse in a cup and you got paper and you kept putting the paper down on top of the mouse in the cup, the mouse is eventually going to get smothered down at the bottom. And I would look at the thought process, or the mind, to be fairly similar to that when the wrong thoughts go into the mind, or when you don't know what to do with the mind which is full of thoughts at that stage, what happens I believe is the person's full life, or full body, full existence, everything gets smothered, and that's where the thought patterns and behaviours go wrong. I was going along, I used to be thinking before about doing videos like this, and I said, oh, you can't be doing videos like that, but I'm standing here now today, and I believe if these videos can help anybody along the way, that why not put out these videos. There might be some person who might need these videos tonight. I actually was at home 2 or 3 nights ago. I was sitting actually just sitting on the bed. I was ready to go to sleep, and a message popped up, and there was a person on the other side. And you know what, I'm very happy that they did send a message to me, and they said to me that they couldn't sleep. So I asked them what was going on. I just got a bit of a brief conversation going first, and I asked them what was going on for them, and I started sort of speaking from my own experience in life, thoughts, and I started asking them about their thoughts, and they started to identify with exactly what I was saying. And to be honest with you, the best advice I could give that person that night, and I did start doing it with them, I just said to them, what thought is going through your mind right now? Write it out to me here. And that's what they did. They wrote out the thought, and we looked at the thought, and we worked on the thought, and we processed the thought, and then I asked them what was the next thought, and they wrote out the thought, and we worked on the thought, we looked at the thought, we processed the thought. And once again I said to them, what is the next thought? And we done the same process. We worked on the thought. The person wrote out the thought. We looked at the thought. We worked on the thought, and we processed the thought. So in general, what we were doing at this stage was we had started clearing out some of the thoughts that was keeping this person awake, and this is generally why the person couldn't go to sleep. Now, I told you I'm going to tell you at the end of this video the results of doing this in your life. And the reason I'm doing these videos is I have to continue myself to do this process to keep myself in the right place. If I notice my thoughts on a daily basis, any thought coming in and blocking me from what I believe is the peace within myself, I have to write this thought myself, and I have to look at it, and I have to be honest with myself what I find in this thought. Now, I really believe that this process has the power to save a life. I've proved that to myself. I don't sort to say this boasting here, but I got a call one night about 16 months ago. There was a woman on the phone, and she told me that her son was after being removed to the psychiatric ward, and that he was in a bad enough way, and would I mind to go down and see him, because she had known that I had done something before myself. Thanks be to God I was never in a psychiatric ward, because I know what happens in there. It's tablets, that's what it is, that's what happens in there. And all that does is stops the head, and the thoughts are never dealt with. The thoughts that are actually blocking the person from their true guide. Now, I went down the night after, and I remember that night down in that hospital, and I was walking up and down along the corridor with the person in question, and he was marching at a fast pace, and there was about another 20 people marching up and down that corridor. And he said to me, I asked him, would he sit down? I said, will you sit down here with me for a few minutes? I said, will you start writing your thoughts? And he said, oh, I can't write. I said, no problem. So I held a pen and paper myself, and I started marching beside him. And I remember turning to him, and he started laughing at me, and he says to me, you're as mad as I am. And I started to ask him what were the thoughts going through his head right now. I said, what thought have you gone through your head right now? And he told me the thought, so I wrote the thought. And then he asked me, what's this about? What are we doing? I said, you'll see here in a minute yourself. And I wrote that thought, and I started. Next thought, I said, so what's the next thought? He told me the thought, and I wrote that thought in the book. And he told me the next thought, and I wrote that thought in the book. And he told me, he said I've crazy one. He said I've real crazy thoughts in there that I couldn't tell nobody. He said, and I said to him that he could tell a person no problem, because maybe the person he's telling has experienced what he's gone through himself. And I said, you can tell me anything. So I sort of built up a trust with this person, and I said, you can tell me anything, because do you know what, nothing would shock me when it comes down to this stage with a person, when they end up at that place. And I kept writing the thoughts. We eventually came back and we sat down at the table. He was able to slow down. Oh, he said to me, I'm starting to feel better. I said, that's great, yeah. I said, come on, we go down here and we sit down at the table down here with a cup of tea. And he said to me, I want to march for another while. I said, okay, yeah. I said, sure, do you know what? I said, we'll march together. There's no bother. I'll march along with you. We'll keep marching together. And I marched away, and we eventually got about 40 or 50 sentences and thoughts out. And then I says to him, I says, come on, shall we go down here and we'll sit down and we have a cup of tea? He said, alright, so sure, come on, we go down and we sit down and have a cup of tea. And that's what we did. We went down and we sat down with a cup of tea and we started looking at the thoughts. We started reviewing the thoughts of what was going on. And he says to me, he said, is this all I have to do? I said, well, yeah, that's your starting point anyway. And I really believe, and I really believe this, and I've seen this on 2 occasions. Rock solid. Now, this man was after having about 10 or 12 different labels in his life. I think he was schizophrenic, he was the next thing, he was the next thing, he was the next thing. And I think he was on about 10 or 12, maybe 15 tablets a day. And I remember saying to him, I said, would you mind, I said to him after about 2 weeks of writing thoughts, I said, would you mind, I said, what about them tablets? I said, what do you think about them now? Do you think you'd need them? And he caught the tablets and he threw them away. Now, I wouldn't advise everybody to do that instantly. You'd really want to start writing the thoughts. You want to have somebody to sit down with and go through the thoughts that know what they're on about. Have a friend to share them with. Have somebody to talk with. And my guarantee to anybody who does that is that they will go from the darkest place in their life to the brightest place in their life. And that's a definite. I've seen another man. He was inside in a psychiatric hospital. I think he had a 12-week program there. It was costing €50,000, and he got a lot of different labels as well. And I told this man the same thing, and this man grew in leaps and bounds. He was after having, like I said, he was after having about 20 or 30 or 40 different labels in his life, and the labels were similar enough: schizophrenic, paranoid this, paranoid that, on tablets. And I said to him, keep writing your thoughts. That's the one tool I gave him. I says, here you go, there's a pen and paper, write your thoughts. Keep on writing your thoughts. Every thought that's coming to you, write the thought. And I said, I guarantee if you start doing that, that you will start clearing the mind and you will sleep at night no problem after a while. And this man went on and he kept doing that, and he followed and he kept doing it, and he went further and further and further. And this man is driving up and down through this country today in Ireland with no medication, with no mood altering substances, and he is passing this message to children in schools all over Ireland today. And I'd be really proud when I see that man. The second man, I met him 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and he's actually gone on a different journey. He's gone after the financial, and he has a new car, and he has this and he has that, and that's okay too. And he turned to me the other day and he says to me, the same man, he says to me, he said, you know what, he said, there's a great life in it. I said, you know what, it's super, absolutely brilliant. So the message in this, anybody who can't sleep tonight, start digging the thoughts, start writing the thoughts, and I guarantee you, do that day after day for a few days and you're going to see something happening in your life. But I do also advise, find a good friend to talk to, maybe find a counsellor to go to after a while when you have enough thoughts written. But you will start to get peace, and that's a definite. That's a guarantee. That's my guarantee to anybody. If anybody wants to, you can message me on Facebook. And you know what, if I can help anybody along the way, or if you know anybody who might need this video, please just send them the video, because the message in the video is start writing your thoughts. Write the book, write the life story.